What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of The Take On with myself, Flex, Danny Murphy, and back at HQ. What are you saying, Mr. Anton Ferdinand?
Back after a win.
He's back
exactly.
after.
You look at
Is that the only reason you come back? Because you weren't sure after the first game. You know what I mean? And then you won now, you come back.
No, I ride West Ham, win, lose or draw. You know that.
That's true. That's true.
I was surprised to see you, to be fair.
Exactly, if you were going on that.
I'm professional, mate. I'm professional. And you told me don't worry. Yeah, exactly.
And you said don't worry this week as well.
trying to make you feel better.
You are. But we're actually not going to start at Man United. I don't want to be cliche. I don't want to start at my team. I want to start at your team. I want to start at Liverpool. Ran out 3-1 winners against Bournemouth. You know, they managed to win the game. A silly red card, which wasn't a red card.
Well, it's been overturned.
Been overturned,
that's
which is good to see. Liverpool, enough to compete. Can there be title challengers? I'm not just saying it just from one game, but just, you know, they got Endo in instead of getting Lavia and Casemiro. We know what happened there.
Yeah.
Still in the market potentially.
Well, I think it's a game everyone expected them to win. They started really poorly. It was weird because they started the Chelsea game so well a week before. I think the biggest take from the game, obviously we'll have a quick chat about defensive midfield position and stuff, but the biggest take was Szoboszlai. I've seen both games, 90 minutes, the Chelsea game and the Bournemouth one, and I think it's sometimes a bit silly to get carried away after 2 games. But when you've played, like we have,
yeah,
sometimes you know. Mm-hmm. And I've watched him twice. Whoa.
He looks good.
What is it? What are you seeing there?
I'm seeing this powerful, technically gifted, elegant footballer. Yeah, he's got that tenacity. You know, I want to win the ball back and I'll put my foot in. It's not gestured. He'll have it. He's never going to be a defence, you know, he's not going to be... I don't think you'll see him crunching into 50-50s all the time because he's so forward-thinking, but the way he was ghosting past people, and not at speed at times, the awareness to know where people are. I knew he had a great strike anyway. You know when you go online and you see bits, they do a reel of all the nice stuff.
You know he's got good technique.
He's got hell of a strike on him, so he's going to score goals. But I was like, we've got one.
Got a player. And when he signed, it felt like that.
He took the 8.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking, a bit like Mount taking the 7. So Szoboszlai took the 8, and I'm thinking, you've got some confidence, boy.
Do you know why, though? Because Keita had it.
Well, that's...
I can't do any worse than that.
I'm following Keita. I can't do any worse than him.
He should have. Yeah, that's true.
That's what it is.
But you know,
the
Gerrard thing. But he is... That's
the
the big take from Liverpool the weekend. The fans are buzzing about him. You know,
and rightly so.
Yeah,
rightly so.
I think so. The Liverpool recruitment team done a good job as well. Because to be honest, don't know what you like when they signed. I was thinking, I don't even know. I'm not sure. I'd seen him play for Hungary once. I didn't know enough, but they've got one.
It just goes to show you about the scouting. I want to ask you about Trent quickly. He's now made 200 Premier League appearances for Liverpool. The time flies, isn't it? He's made 200 already. He made an error in the build-up to Bournemouth's goal. Just on that, as a defender, I know obviously he was in a central area as a midfielder at that point, dropping in to get the ball. But as Virgil van Dijk's played him, that a lot of people say he should be playing that. How do you feel?
I think that's a bad ball, personally. I think it's a bad ball from Virgil. Seeing the pass and playing the pass, but the way he executed it, the whip dip on it, whatever he put on it, in that area, when there's players around him, you're asking for trouble. Do you know what I mean? Like, that one's got to be played smoothly on the floor, so he can play one touch or turn. He can't even turn on that touch.
Do you know what a great thing is?
Do you want that as a centre midfielder there coming in?
Not really, but you know what a great thing is, and Trent's probably one of the few players I could say it about. He'll keep getting. It won't bother him.
Can I just say? See what you've just said there. Don't get enough praise. Like, you know, everyone talks about when things ain't going well, can you still run? Are you going to go into a tackle if it's not going well for you? Can you still get on the ball?
Yeah, it's a great
point. When you've given a ball away, you've given a goal away or whatever, and you're at fault for it because you've passed, your touch is bad or you've given away a pass. To have the balls to go and get on the ball again in the same area that you've just messed up in, That's character more than anything, I think.
Do you know what? It's a great point because I used to have this little fight. I don't know if you did this when you played. I had little voices always talking to myself, right? Little chats. And that was the one I had nearly every game.
What? Go and get it again. You messed up now, but come on down.
No, I used to say, and it used to be a detriment at times. When you're playing badly, you start. You can lose more and more, and then you get hammered because you're losing balls. But I used to have this voice in my head saying, "You got to get on it again. Go and get it again. Go and get it again. Hunt it down. Hunt it down." I just constantly having a chat with myself when I was feeling a bit not on it.
Yeah.
Go and get it again. Go and get it again. Trent is exactly that. But it wasn't just him. They all started poorly.
Yeah.
Even the goalkeeper gave one away, Alisson, I think.
Yeah, lucky offside.
But it's a great point Anna makes, and I think that is a real sign of confidence and bravery in a player, not just smashing into a tackle.
With Wataru Endo, do you think in the process of losing out on Lavia and Caicedo, when everyone's laughing at Liverpool, they can't get the big names, etc., do you like that signing? What do you make of it?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of him, only what I've done my research now we've signed him. He is what you think holding midfield should be. He's a rat, get about, he spots danger, he knows how to defend. So as a stopgap, it seems good business. He's 30, get a couple of years out of him, 19 mil, it's probably
low
a
cost,
sensible deal. I have heard a little whisper that Liverpool are in for Phillips.
Maybe Gravenberg as well.
He's not
That's
really
not the
a CDM.
6 you want,
no, because I was going to ask Anton actually about Phillips. I've obviously seen a bit of him, probably not less than you, to be honest. But he's a defensive-minded player who's good on the ball. Do you think that would be a decent signing for Liverpool, obviously based on the cost, or do you see it as, because some Liverpool fans, I think, will see it as, why are we taking City's cast-offs?
No,
not cast-offs, the wrong word. Why are we taking City's players they don't need? We're better than that. Or is it actually, let's look past that?
I think you got to look past it. You've lost two big influential players in that position, by the way, in Endo and Fabinho. Yeah. You got a ready-made replacement who knows the Premier League, who, by the way, ain't just someone who disrupts play, he can play, by the way. Yeah. You don't get enough credit for how he deals with the ball and how he plays, and the way he plays forward, And I just think that it's ignorant to look at it and go, he don't play for City, or he ain't done it at City, he ain't been able to crack it at City, so why are we taking him? Hold a minute. You got someone who's hungry to play and wants to prove a point. Listen, we know as players, if a manager don't play you and you go somewhere else, every time you play against that manager, every time you play, in the back of your mind is, I want to stick it to him. I want to stick it to him. I want to show him that he should have played me.
What would be value for Liverpool? What would you pay for him? Because what did they pay?
50,
45?
50?
I don't think
35?
I was thinking 30, 25, 30. Maybe it might get him out.
I'm saying 30s. 30 definitely.
Good business.
Of course it is.
I think how old is he?
He's not old either.
25.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it could be a good one. It's not too long ago in the Euros when he played, and we were like, as England fans, we went, hang on a minute.
What about you boys, though?
Didn't expect it.
You need one.
He turned us down already, but the Leeds connection. But now I'm all right.
No, but do you know what I think? We're forgetting that, like you say, in the Euros, if he would have been playing at Man City week in, week out, the question is, and does Declan play all the time for England? Because it was out of them two. When you're playing against a team, when you're playing against a nation,
you mean if he stayed
fit and Bellingham's doing what he's doing, it's now direct competition between him and Rice. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Never got to that, did it?
And you can play any one of them, because off the back of that Euros, they were both brilliant. You couldn't look at it and go, Deck was better, or Phillips was better. They were both excellent.
Deck's kicked on.
Deck's kicked on and he hasn't. And that is down to lack of games.
Injuries. I mean, it's all about can he stay fit as well. That's
key.
The gamble for Liverpool, is that the right gamble to take?
I think so. I think that type of deal makes sense. I'm actually glad they didn't spend 100+ million on Caicedo.
We're going to get to him.
Only because, not because I don't like him, just because I think that's too big an amount to spend on a defensive player. I think that amount of money should be saved for the game changers.
Yeah,
I know he might go on to do wonderful things. I'm not doubting it, but I thought they got. I think it's too much.
Yeah,
I really do. But in answer to your question, I think Liverpool do need one more in.
Yeah.
and that would be enough. They've got great attacking options. They look sharp. And I think they'll do a lot better than last season. Can they win the title?
Yeah, can they challenge?
I don't think so.
Do you know what? Do you know what I find the audacity of Liverpool, of Klopp, playing a midfield three that ain't really defensive? I think it's brilliant. Like it's refreshing. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, I believe in my philosophy, and that is it. Go out and play. Playing them three in the midfield, especially going to Stamford Bridge the first game of the season.
I couldn't believe it when I saw the team.
Like, it's almost like well, I don't care about you.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Personally,
That is Klopp in his element, isn't it? Like he sticks to his.
I love it, but to compete,
No?
you can't do that. Impossible.
Okay. Let's move on a little bit. Let us know. Do you think Liverpool will be able to mount a serious title challenge? These guys have both said they do not.
I don't think anyone's gonna.
No,
City,
not even us. No
I mean, we'll get to them, but City against Newcastle, like after going what they did in Greece midweek, lost a couple of players. No De Bruyne, Foden pops in there. Looks like what?
Philip.
I was just like, stop,
that Alvarez
Phil,
goal. That
Phil,
Alvarez
give
goal
it a
as
rest.
well. Like that, and Haaland had a typical. Actually, we'll talk about City really briefly because there's not really much else to say.
Yeah.
Haaland had like that typical Haaland game where he was fluffing at chances, but like 48 seconds later, he's had another chance.
It's not typical.
Couple minutes. Yeah,
typical would be if he scored.
But you know, like typical as in like you're not surprised when he has these games. He has these moments sometimes where he just snatches at chances, and sometimes he just doesn't score.
Yeah,
Obviously, more often than not,
yeah.
he scores. But like the chance creation of City to be like, don't worry, mate, we'll give you another one in a minute. We'll give you another one in a minute.
That there, what you just said there, the continuous.
Yeah.
Opportunities that he has. No wonder he's scoring 50 goals in the. There's
It's
no De
ridiculous.
Bruyne. Phil Foden's gone in there, whereas he's openly said that's why he wants to play.
It's his best position.
Could he fill the boots? Someone asked. I was like, yeah, he can.
He's a joke. And you know what?
Of De Bruyne or of Gundogan?
He's not of De Bruyne in that role.
Right,
He
absolutely.
can make chances. He's
Yeah.
not like De Bruyne's different to him.
Yeah.
Not comparing their playing styles, but in terms of creativity,
Easily.
he sees passes.
Absolutely.
He keeps getting in the holes. And they've signed this Belgian kid, Dokken.
He's mate.
Lively, isn't he?
And the thing is about that, and this is what
Although he needs to improve his end product
he does.
a bit.
It's actually quite out of the Pep mode.
Yeah.
But if you look at the attributes of him saying, well, he came away from like direct people like Sane and Sterling back in the day.
He's gone back.
Mahrez isn't that type of winger. Grealish is not that type of winger. He's gone, give me one of them, let me get my teeth into that.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
you're like, as a neutral, I'm like,
This could
the
be a
league
problem.
could be in trouble here because if he gives him a little bit of intuition, a little bit of understanding of what he wants tactically, but frees him up to go and do what he does best, which is get at defenders. Doku's wicked at that.
Can I just say
We're in
though,
trouble in the league.
Can I just say though,
Man City, man.
in terms of Phil Foden and listening to Phil Foden speak about Pep and the way that he's dealt with him, that's how you want to manage to play. Every time when we were playing, the manager up front, honest, wait your turn, wait your turn. Wait, you're going to play out of position, but wait your turn. The position that you want to play in, you will get there eventually, but wait your turn.
Talk about waiting. He sat through David Silva.
Yeah.
He sat through prime De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Prime
it tells
Gundogan.
you.
Like,
But it
and he's
tells-
still. And anytime you've asked him to come in, I know there was a season. What was it? Last year he had his appendix out. Bit of in and out.
His
It was
foot-
maybe
a foot problem.
Exactly. Couple
Still
of
got
little
double figures,
niggly
though.
injuries. Exactly. But anytime he's still got that quality.
How
when
many
he comes in.
trophies has he won?
Ridiculous. Without being the main focal.
Do you know, just
point.
quickly on City, I've got to say as well, and this is the thing that why it's hard to see anybody else overtaking them. You know, when you think, okay, Stones was injured, right? You've got Guardiola coming in, so
They don't even want Laporte anymore, mate. He's going Saudi.
no, I know
No,
Laporte's
mad that
going,
is.
but so he sneaks a Kenji in the door. What, a year ago? The fella's now coming out into midfield, popping it about. Didn't lose the ball once against Newcastle under their press, by the way.
Yeah, brilliant.
He plays left back against Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, and has both the wingers in his
Shutouts.
pocket.
Yeah.
The guy's a Rolls Royce.
And when he
And
came
by
in
the
from
way-
Dortmund, everyone's going. "Who's that?"
And by the way, do you not hear him say, I only had a couple of days training, learning about that position, by the
Is
way.
that what he said?
About taking it that John Stones role, going into midfield, making an extra man in midfield. Only a couple of days. But you know what it tells you? The coaching is unbelievable. The attention to detail in every position. And I can imagine Pep must want everyone to listen to everything because you know what it's like. You see when you're on the ball, when someone else on the ball, you need to know what they're going to do or what their plans are, what their options are. That's almost like the same for everybody in the pitch. Everyone needs to know what everyone's doing, so that if I'm ever in that position, I know what I'm doing. And the way that he said that he only a couple of days he started to train and started to do that role, and then go and execute it the way that he did. It's unbelievable.
What do you make to some people who've said actually, of course they're winning games and they're Man City, they've become a little bit robotic and. Good to see them playing a different way.
People criticise Newcastle said they didn't play that well, right?
I thought they were still in the game.
They were, but they don't let you play what you. Newcastle tried to press, they tried to be energetic, but they just play through it and then they have to drop off. People don't understand till you play against the level of this team.
It's so good, yeah.
There are, and by the way, and I've got to get this out because we talk about him a lot, and we're talking about holding midfielders. Is Rodri ever going to have a bad game?
He did one thing where he gave the ball
near
away
the end, when he was a
yeah.
bit tired. You could see he gave
and
two
then
away.
He went,
he went like that.
But other than that, he's flawless.
Mate.
He's flawless, isn't he?
He's a machine, the fella.
He's flawless. He's getting assists, he's getting goals as well. He's taking the mick.
They're still the team. Still the team.
That was a nice bit of City loving, isn't it? Let's move on. Yeah. That's making me sick, to be honest.
I don't like it either.
West Ham versus Chelsea. Now, Chelsea went down 3-1 losers at the London Stadium. In Sir David Moyes you trust. He's beaten the £1 billion Todd Bowley. All the transfers they've made. The £100 million men, Enzo Fernandez missed a penalty. Moises Caicedo struggled, obviously, coming in late. What did you make of that game? Obviously, I know it's your team, but also from a Chelsea perspective as well.
The scoreline didn't do Chelsea justice, if I'm being really honest.
That is honest.
Yeah, it was. Chelsea were really, really good. They were attacking prowess. They were like direct,
sharp.
Raheem,
especially Sterling.
Raheem Sterling looked like the Raheem of old.
Jackson, by the way.
Oh, joke.
One play against him.
However, the end product is where they're going to struggle. You see that they're where they're going to struggle.
What are you saying? They need to go into the market and spend more. What they need? What are we saying there? How can they be missing anything when they've spent this much money?
I don't know, but a 9 who puts the ball in the back of the net.
Well, they've got one playing in the 21s. I mean, is Lukaku? Is it done? Can he not call upon him? Can he?
Untenable, isn't it?
But why though? Why?
I don't know. But
if you go in the team and don't score a few goals, the fans will chip.
They
forget. Maybe Poch ain't having, fair enough. You want to play a certain way, whatever. But it does seem mad.
Especially since Nkunku's out till what is it, January? I'm not quite sure, but he's out.
What about Brozier as well? He's decent.
He's linked to Roma as well. He's linked to a move out.
I think there's. I'll just say with Chelsea, because I had some words last season, got hammered by the fans, but anyway.
They say you don't like
I actually think there's some positive signs there. They've got some really good young players who are going to get better under Poch, because Poch improves young players. There's no doubt. And they're going to be a better watch. Last season was poor by anyone's standards. So I do think they're going to get better, and they will have some really good games where you think, whoa, they'll give teams a good hiding. But I think that because the team is so young and they're all learning on the job, I think you are going to get games where they struggle to get over the line because of that inexperience. Because really, Thiago's own, maybe Sterling, he's been around the block, of course. But if you take Thiago out, even the lad Dizazi looks all right, but when Antonio, he's bullied him.
Rattled, mate. Colwell rattled.
He tried to fight Antonio a couple of times.
Don't do that, mate.
Mate, did someone not tell you before?
Exactly. Arm's length, please. Don't get too tight. Arm's length.
If they've got these learning curves, because they've got such a young team, they're going to have to go through these learning curves. Same with Levi Colwell. He bounced off Antonio one time as well.
Mate, you bounced off him.
Do you know what the crazy thing is? Then this is the crazy thing, yeah? When I learned that lesson, playing in the reserves against Dele Alabola. Dele Alabola, I swear, for 45 minutes in a reserve team game against Coventry, he rolled the life out of me. I kept thinking I could go and win it. No, excuse me, see you later.
I played with Dele.
I'm telling you, at half time, Roger Cross, who was the reserve team manager at the time, said, Anton, I've shouted to you maybe 10 times, stop getting too tight. You're not stronger than him. You got 5 minutes. If he rolls you again, you're coming off. Learn your lesson. I'm telling you. No, but it was the biggest lesson I had.
Yeah, you got to go through it.
He was a roller. He loved the roll.
He was a joke.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like those young centre-halves experienced against Anton Ferdinand. But on West Ham.
But just quickly,
Go on,
sorry.
go on.
Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of Chelsea fans say about poch out and stuff like that.
Who said that? Who's saying that?
I'm just saying
it's
what I'm
impossible.
hearing.
It's
That's what I'm saying. What I'm hearing.
You haven't heard
And
that.
I have. And what I need to say about that is, you hit the nail on the head, Dan. There's a difference this year to last year.
Already.
This year, they look like they've got a plan of action. They're just not finishing off their dinner. That is all it is. You know, so give Poch time. I think maybe the Tottenham thing might be playing a part in that. We don't know.
I think there's some positive in the first 2 games.
100%.
Massive positives. For me,
100%.
the only
Enzo looks
criticism-
better as an 8.
Yeah.
You know, I think the signings will make, obviously,
They'll be
Caicedo.
fine. They're lucky to lose Chukwuemeka now because he's
Yeah,
out. He's
great
had to have
goal.
a knee.
That was a great goal, by
He's
the
had
way.
to have a knee up now, so
Great goal.
not great. Yeah,
Enough
really
for
good
Chelsea
goal.
anyway. Let's talk about
Yeah,
West Ham.
just quickly, I will say I think he's played like a 4-2-3-1 all the way through pre-season, and then because he hasn't got their midfielders in for the start of the Premier League, all right against Liverpool, all right, you thought but I'm thinking, could you not put 2 in midfield, West Ham away? You still don't fancy it until he gets Lavio and Caicedo up to speed. So let's judge them when them players are ready.
Absolutely.
Let's
But
talk
from
about
a West
West Ham
Ham perspective, Danny, you said it was a couple of shows ago, I think, just as Ward-Prowse was making that move
Paid him
official.
money. Paid him money.
You
Good
said
take.
easy. You
Good
said
take.
he'll get you assists, he'll get you goals straight away. This is Ward-Prowse by numbers: 96% pass accuracy,
Reliable.
2 times possession, 1, 2 chances created, 2 assists, 38 touches. He's now registered, right, 40 Premier League assists, overtaking Robbie Fowler. He's now equaled Michael Carrick's tally as well.
By the
They're
way, though,
overtaking me, sir.
by the
And
way,
overtaking
though,
you.
everyone talks about his delivery, set plays, and free kicks and stuff. The second goal, the ball that he played was flipping fantastic. By the way,
He's got more than the assists.
Absolutely.
He's got more than the set plays.
Is this why he's perfect for West Ham?
Do you know, all he's lacking is that power, that real speed.
Yeah.
But he makes up for it.
He gets around the pitch.
He
though.
gets around because he's fit and he's got game intelligence.
Yeah.
You don't see him get done. People don't run off the back of him. He's honest as the day's long. He's a great signer. And that's why I was saying a couple of weeks, just get it done.
Yeah.
And the other lad,
Alvarez,
who I've seen at Ajax before and really liked. And I know he's a bit older than what you'd probably want. You know, I think he's 20, was he 20? We'd have to look. I think he's late 20s rather than early. But he came on and looked
like a machine.
Yeah.
Especially in
And he
that
can play, by the way.
moment of the game as well, where you need a little bit of grit.
We've gone down to 10 men. We've gone down to 10 men.
Exactly, it's perfect.
Do you know what it was?
He looked like he was enjoying it.
I was at the game, right? And went down to 10 men. And Moyes looked like he was going to and ah whether to put him on or not. And then he just went, no, okay, I'm putting him on.
Yeah.
Put him on. And the way he got around the pitch, I couldn't believe it. Like, there was one, and the enjoyment of blocking a ball. Like, it was, I think one.
He did 2 or 3 things in about a 5-minute spell.
One went down the right, and it wasn't his man one-on-one.
I remember it.
And a cutback come through, and Alvarez come from nowhere and intercept that ball sliding along the ground. Do you know what it reminds me of? And you know what I like? About this signing.
What's a good what?
No. I'm not going there. No.
What does it remind you of?
All right.
Flex, put his age in there because I might get that right. I've got to see it.
This is
Because if he's young, this could be the signing off.
no. This is Alvarez. It's almost like he's been told what it takes to be a West Ham player and play in front of them fans. Because what we saw, and I'm saying it from a fan's point of view, what we saw in that cameo that he played on the weekend
25.
was
Prime.
someone who run first, play second, when in recent years, signings that we've had have not understood that.
Yeah.
Whereas
point.
it's almost like this guy understands, he's been told, for the West Ham, you to get love at West Ham, this is what you got to do.
Well, that's how he plays anyway, so maybe
and
give
You guys know why? Ten Hag's made him, mate.
Oh, I don't want to hear that.
he's only 25, by the way,
Ten
so
Hag's
forgive
made him,
me,
mate.
I've done him a couple of years. He could be a brilliant signing.
So,
Come
then-
straight out of the
Just
Then why
straight
do you
out
get
of
him?
Ajax.
Why
mate.
do you get him then?
Listen, we can't get everyone. Sure, we can't get
You
everyone,
need-
mate.
you need
him.
Look at Arsenal. We've got
Even
Timber.
Liverpool,
Ten
even
Hag made
Liverpool.
him, mate.
He's raising his voice.
Even Liverpool.
Ten Hag made him, mate.
Even Liverpool.
Get defence.
Ten Hag made him,
Liverpool
mate.
could have done with him. You could have done with him.
Ten Hag made him, mate.
But I'll
That's
tell
all
you
I'm
where
saying.
he came.
Put
He
respect
came
to
where
his
it's massive. That's where he came.
On a
where it's
serious-
massive.
on
It's
a-
a big coup for West Ham, isn't it?
Great coup.
Yeah.
And do you know what? On a serious note, everyone fit, everyone settled. What's the midfield free? You just have to bring.
Your boy Souček did all right, innit?
Yeah, but he has got.
Nah, he's got to go. He not got to go. He's got to be on the bench.
Yeah.
Not got to go. Sorry, not got to go. He's got to be on the bench. Yeah. Alvarez.
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
Paqueta. Agreed.
Did you see what Paqueta done to Casemiro? Late doors, 100 million man. Coming in.
He did. He had him in the pocket.
Oh, stop
He
it.
had Caicedo praying after the game. I hope this works out, mate.
Oh, no.
That's what he was doing.
I should have went Liverpool.
Just quickly, before we move on from West Ham, Sir Michail Antonio.
Ooh.
Does he deserve more respect? Because Michail Antonio has now scored 62 Premier League goals. That's as many as David Beckham, Robert Pires, Yaya Toure, and Stan Collymore.
And he's only been playing up front for the last 3-4 years.
So on his podcast next with Callum Wilson, he's going to be saying, "Talk to me proper. Do you know what company I'm in?"
Do you know what? He's done so well. I've got so much admiration for him being able to adapt his game and shut the critics out and just get on.
How difficult is that to come through the lower leagues as well, right to the top, and
Well,
not
he did
just,
it a bit
and
late.
stay there?
Yeah, coming through low leagues is a great education, and you get humility down there because you've not experienced the good stuff.
Academy life.
No,
Just
no,
getting
it's
looked
true.
after.
Yeah, kind of that. When I was at Crewe, for example, you take your own training kit home. There wasn't a canteen for like food and that. You'd have to sort your own grub out initially, and you just have the pitches weren't great. You know what it's like. And he's come through, and I think every time he's got to a different level, he's like grasped it and gone, "I'm hanging on to this."
Yeah.
I
And it's
don't
so.
want to go back.
And the way he plays is that it's like,
Like it's his last game.
yeah.
Do you know what I must say? Admiration's there 100%. And the biggest thing, I remember speaking to him a few years ago, and I had a young boy that I was mentoring with me, and I said to him, "Any advice for this young aspiring footballer?" And he said, "When people doubt you, work harder and prove them wrong, because that's all I've done." And he went at that stage. He was going through a stage where the manager at the time weren't playing him. He was playing him, then not playing him, playing him, not playing him.
Yeah,
but he just said,
come in,
Then he's like, do you know what?
He's going to be the new guy.
And he was just like, you know what? All I've done was work hard, and when I got my opportunities, I grabbed them.
He's an inspirational figure, I think,
100%.
because what he shows you is that when you're down there, obviously you have to get to a certain level. When you're in those lower leagues, or when you're doubting yourself that you can reach the top, if you crack on and you keep going, you got a chance.
Proper story, man. Proper story.
And actually, that story will be told really well when he finishes.
Yeah.
Because his journey's not over, is it?
Course.
He's got plenty
No.
of time to go.
Is that just actually?
Just got to say
Go
though.
on.
Got to
go on.
say, the biggest indicator for me is always what other players say. And
Yeah.
I know for a fact that players don't like playing against.
Oh, I hate no, 100%.
They look at him on a
100%.
team sheet and go,
Oh, no, it's going to be a hard
He ain't going to
afternoon.
stop running. Just out of curiosity, before we move on, as ex-pros, what do you make of current pros, i.e. Callum Wilson and Michail, who have a podcast, still playing? They're having a good bit of banter. I know that the Richarlison thing happened. Would that be something that you two would have done? Or
Not in our time, no chance.
Okay, maybe not in that time. If you was in this time now, would you shy away from that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You're asking for trouble. It depends how you do it. Obviously, if it's a bit of banter and all that, fine. And times have changed, but no. And the other thing is, I don't think, without you disrespecting them, if they were at big clubs,
They'd be allowed to.
wouldn't be allowed to.
Yeah.
Because Houllier,
Yeah.
even like you wanted to go on Soccer AM, me and Carol was like, when
You want to go?
we went, honestly, we went
Get
to
me on
Gaff
there,
and
get me
went,
on Soccer AM.
got no game at the weekend, we're going to go on Soccer AM. He went, "You're not." He said, "I've seen that show. You're better than that. Like, you're not going on that."
Really? Well, even have to have a
Said
bit
you
of fun
play-
on
he
there.
said you play
At the
for-
time, what would that have been? Max Rushton and Helen Chamberlain.
He said you play for Liverpool. You're like, you represent the club. You don't go in there and act like
Yeah.
idiots. And we went, "All right, Gaffer, no problem." I made him right though.
But
Looking
you,
back,
you was more devastated because you planned a night in London, didn't you?
full weekend, full weekend.
Would you agree with Danny? Like you would have stayed away from something like that?
And the senior boys would have told us.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You know, like pods now. If,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
at a big club, and Newcastle could be coming
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bigger club, but
Yeah, 'cause they're-
there'll come a time, where Eddie Howe will say to him,
Yeah, but probably as they're on the way up and wanting to be more
Yeah.
open, they've got the documentary. They're probably saying, actually, make
Well,
sure you
there-
don't say anything crazy.
there's
but-
lots of positives to
Yeah.
it because they're interacting with people.
I
But
think in this, for me personally, in the time we're living in now, I'd probably get involved. I would probably do something like that.
because of the way
But-
the world's gone now.
Yes.
So if you was a pro now at West Ham,
then
yeah,
But then again, if someone else on my team was doing it and they were having a stinker,
that's the problem.
I'd be like, are you taking the mick?
Well, do you know what? I'll give you an example. Now, Callum was coming on and scoring, and he's doing fine. So, but you know, he's relevant because we're talking about him. He's a really good lad apparently, good player. If he's knocking on the door in another 3 or 4 weeks and Isak keeps scoring, right, and he's going, why aren't I playing? The gaffer's got another one where he can go to him. Well, I don't think you've been training as well. You're too busy off doing your podcasts and doing interviews and God knows what.
Easy out.
It's
easy out for the manager.
Yeah.
So that side of, and this is what's interesting as a fan to hear this, that bit of like players planning for after their career,
that is
the
good.
way that the game's gone now. You look at American sports, that very much happens. Things are changing.
Yeah,
but it's interesting to see.
We've got to be open.
Yeah, but actually, even before, even ex-pros like this, you guys wouldn't even been doing this.
No. But
10, 15 years ago after you finished
the game. The managers need to change with it as well. Because like just saying, you all of a sudden now become an easy target for the manager. I'm not playing you. And the reason why, like Danny said, you ain't been training well because you're too interested in doing your podcast.
Might not even be true.
Yeah, exactly. But they will use it.
But the other thing
managers look for easy things like that.
The other thing you've got, let's say you've got 60,000 West Ham fans.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I mean, he's a ledge anyway, but if he starts having 3 or 4 bad games, look a bit tired, he's got an injury or two, and he's doing the pods and all that, and they go, hold on, he's been injured for 4 weeks. Well, he's too busy doing stuff. We should be getting rehab. I know it sounds you can't be getting rehab.
That's the narrative.
From a pure. This is why I love having you guys here. From a pure fan perspective,
you love it.
I love it, and I love it because it's current. I love it because for far too long we've seen players. Maybe players.
Okay, let me
kind of be quite close, but I know what you're going to say. If it was a player at Man United,
I'll
and
give
they're
you an
on there,
example.
go on.
Let's say Bruno's doing it.
Yeah.
With Ronaldo, right? They do one every week. And Bruno started the season like he has, and the two lost. In the first should have lost, but you know, two poor performances.
Said we'll be all right.
2 poor performances.
Yeah.
Would you be torn about the way Bruno was playing, or would you link it straight to he's too busy doing his podcasting?
Of course, I get that.
Why give
if I want to consume it, if I'd make a choice to consume it, I would have as a consumer of it and a liker of the podcast stuff, I would have to kind of have my unwritten contract to say, Flex, if you're going to enjoy that, when he does have a bad game and it goes a bit wrong, it ain't because of that. You're either in this space because you think it can evolve and it's good for players to be speaking on podcasts, or like you said, you think same thing used to happen kind of with Pogba. Like if he's out, he's dancing, or he's gone to a wedding, he's doing this, but then he's not doing the business. It's because of that. Or Jesse Lingard, he's starting up a fashion label.
Let me.
And like, now your head's not in the game. So I get it, but as a pure fan, and maybe I'm biased because I'm in this space and I do this as a fan.
Yeah, a little bit.
I quite like to. I like to see Michail Antonio say, "Well, I spoke to Lucas Paquetá and he said I spoke to Richarlison." And
yeah, but that's all drama.
I quite like that they're being honest.
Do you think you'll see a Man City player?
No, you said with the big clubs, absolutely not.
And why?
Would never happen.
Why?
Because of the reasons you said.
I've heard that's the reason why Anthony's having a stinker, is because he's doing a podcast
in Brazil.
Well, that's a nice segue, Anton. That's a nice segue. I like what you did there. Yeah, you've been off and you've been, you've been practicing your craft.
No, but seriously, I like that. I need to.
We're getting on to Man United right now.
Know
go on,
I've seen your clips.
Yeah.
I want to know why are you so harsh on him, Anthony?
Why am I so harsh on Anthony? I'm harsh on Anthony because this is a player that the manager co-signed very strongly. This is Erik Ten Hag's guy. I love Erik Ten Hag.
I want him.
I think he's done a great job up until now, and we can't panic because 2 games into the season where we're 3 points better off than last year, it's all gone wrong. However, in Anthony's case, because there's a lot of other players who are underperforming, that was just, when I did that was just the Anthony part. There's a Bruno part, there's a Rashford part, there's a Sancho part, but that was the Anthony part. With him, if you're going to co-sign a guy and say, the price is inflated to 80 million now, Eric, do you still want him? Yes, I do. Why? Because he's my guy, and you're going to start him in every single game. And then the return that we see on that is, some back-to-back goals at the start, off to a flyer against Arsenal, doing the celebration, doing the spinneroonie, all of that, yeah. When we see that, yeah.
Martial part 2.
Great.
Started on
let
fire.
him finish, go on.
Yeah, when we see that, great. But there has to be some substance behind it. And if it appears to me that he doesn't have the decision making, he slows the attacks down, the end quality isn't there. He does work hard, I'll give him that. He's got that dog in him where he will run around, he will work hard off the ball to get back into position, etc., etc.
Do you know what that's like?
It's not enough.
Do you know what
it's not enough.
It's a given to work hard.
That's the only reason he's in the team, and he's Ten Hag's guy.
The reason why I want to talk about this is because I saw a lot of comments under your post about Sancho getting heat. Some of it's deserved because he's been below par. But I want to see Sancho given the same amount of chances that Anthony's been given. Anthony's playing 10 games on the bounce, and I said it before, he's not more productive than Jared Bowen. No chance. He ain't.
He's not.
Costs a lot more money.
No.
But if you're gonna dig out Sancho, dig him out based on the fact, or compare the two, that he's getting the same amount of chances as Anthony. Playing 10 games on the bounce, whether he plays rubbish or not, and see what he does.
But with Sancho, what I will say though, to be honest, and if you look at the timeline, under Ollie he was poor. Then Eric came in and he played in Eric's first season last year. He played all the way through pre-season, was really good. Then he was playing. He was playing, got a goal against Liverpool. You know, he's doing all right.
He did all right.
Then as it got closer to the World Cup, his form was doing this. And I asked Eric in a couple of press conferences, like, what's going on with Sancho? There was a feeling his performances is dipping. Let's not forget, it dipped so bad that you guys have been in training with top managers before. If the manager looks at it in training and said, I've got kids from the under 23 looking sharper than you, I need to send you away. Let's not forget, Sancho had to get sent away. I don't know the full context of why it could have been personal issues, so I'm not going to dig him out for getting sent away. But I'm saying there was clearly a massive issue there.
I don't dispute that.
And he hasn't fulfilled the price tag as well.
100%, I don't dispute that. I get that. But he's gone away. He's worked hard, obviously. You brought him back in. Like, don't allow your stubbornness.
Yeah.
Because Anthony's your guy.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
You got a player who
you can treat them all the same.
By the way, exactly, treat them all the same. But by the way, Sancho is a top player when he's on form. We know this.
Yeah, he's got to find it. He's got
to find it. Help him find it. There's no better. We know as players, that when you go into a match, if you go into a match thinking, and whether I play well or not, I'm not going to play next week. It's hard. Yeah. It's very, very hard. All I'm asking is, if you're going to compare the two based on the fact that now this is Ten Hag's team, by the way, is looking more and more like his personnel. Play Sancho for 10 games like you have Anthony and see what he does.
Yeah, I think it's a big season for Sancho, and I really like him. And I thought actually against Wolves he'd come on, look sharp. I'm looking forward to see how he does. And I think
got to start starting games.
I think Anthony soon. He's not. I don't think Ten Hag's that week where he'll leave him in if he's not performing. The one quick thing on Anthony I got to say is I was at the Wolves game, and one particular time in the first half, he's on the right wing and he's 1-on-1 with the left back, Aït-Nouri, and Aït-Nouri overshowed him the right foot and he knocked it and he was gone.
Just went past him.
And then he completely fluffed his right foot cross.
Ain't got one.
Right. Yeah, so what I don't understand, and the best I ever played with this was Damien Duff. Damien Duff came to Fulham and played on the right for 2 seasons.
Player.
Because he lost that yard, but he played on the right. So he could come in and he played little link-ups with Bobby. But if they showed him on his right, he'd go on his right and he'd just stand him up to the back post. To Clint Dempsey. But Duff was nearly every day, even after all he'd done in the game, was right foot crosses. Just not whippage, because that's hard to do on your weak foot. Yeah. Standing up.
If you do a peg leg, little 7-iron out the thing, just anything. Yeah.
Why isn't he working on it? That's the bit I don't get. Do the videos, look at the analysis. Look, he's overshowing you. Go on there. Yeah. Go down. That's
not a Brazilian trait.
Nah, but come on.
Yeah, but it should be. It's a Premier League trait, mate. And if you want to be a winger in this league, you need to fix up. Just quickly, United's dreadful away form. And listen, you said to me. Yeah. And you could be lying to me because you want me to have a false sense of security.
No, I did mean it. I thought they'd do all right.
You said they'd be all right. And actually, for the first half,
we were.
And if
they scored, it was a different game.
But listen, I could tell you now, as it says here, 4-0 Brentford away, 6-3 Man City, 3-1 Aston Villa, 3-2 Arsenal, 7-0 Liverpool, 2-0 Newcastle, 2-2 Spurs, 1-0 Brighton, 2-0 Spurs. 38 on aggregate. And I don't mean 38, I mean 30 goals conceded to 8 scored on aggregate.
Wow.
That is a horrendous return against the top
line.
Well,
I said, look...
And our next away game's at the Emirates.
I'll try and do this quickly, but at the beginning of the last season, I got a bit of stick from United fans for saying that Eriksen, for me, wasn't a wow signing. He's been a good player, and he's a creative player.
Yeah.
But if you played him and Bruno in a 3-man midfield with one holding player, whoever that was, Casemiro, I think away from home, in the bigger games, you're going to have problems. And it was right. And at times, he threw Fernandes wide.
Yeah.
And he did that because he knows. He's not daft.
Yeah.
Now, he's brought Mount in, who's better defensively than Eriksen, but Mount is still a creative player. So really, what you've got is a similar issue, but Mount's a bit better than Eriksen.
Different way around it.
So Casemiro's getting isolated again because unless you tell Mount to play as a holder, which he isn't really, he's game. He'll try and do the work. But you've got Fernandes, who's a liability defensively most of the time, apart from the first 20 minutes
he
of
gets
games.
away with murder.
Yeah, I agree with that, and we'll come to that.
For me.
So what you've got is this midfield that's open. And when you've got... I mean, the Wolves midfield were running through it, cutting through it because of the pace of Nunez. Nunez goes past people like they're not. Sarr and Basuma, vroom, taking risks, cutting through.
Even Maddison started doing it second half, dropping the shoulder off. He's gone.
Well, he's good at that anyway.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, that you look at it as a midfield, and at home against Wolves, maybe you look at it and think, you know what, they probably thought they were going to have loads of the ball. They probably didn't expect this Wolves to turn up. But away at Tottenham, you're going to get found out. And they did in the second half. They got overrun. So... is it fitness? Is it mindset? I just think away from home in the Premier League against the best teams, if you've got 5 offensive players on the pitch, when I say offensive, don't mean they can't defend, but their first priority is offensive.
There's a problem.
You're going to lose games. Yeah. You've got to be a bit more pragmatic. Away from Old Trafford, go for it. Do your thing. You should prove that last year. Away from home, you've got to just give the teams a bit more respect and go, I've got to sit someone next to Casemiro. Got to. Maybe even 2.
Is that stubbornness again from Ten Hag?
You got to say it is.
Is it stubbornness?
You got to say it is because he's finding out the hard way and it hasn't changed. I know it's only 2 games.
Well, if they go to Arsenal and play with 5 offensive...
4-0.
Problems.
4-0. Even if we don't, it could still be. Just quickly, Casemiro. Yeah. You've played that position.
Yeah.
You've played it post 30. You know, when maybe you might not have been the same player you was 10 years ago, etc. Yeah. Obviously, Casemiro's elite. Yeah. Is all of a sudden with Casemiro, is he just past it now? Or
no? I don't believe that for a second. I think he'll be back to his best, back to the levels he was last season. Because I listened to a Spanish expert. You know, we don't always know everything, do we? I was listening to him on a radio show the other day, and he was saying he was a slow starter at Madrid, start of seasons. I don't know if he lets him goes. I don't know if he goes on the beach in the summer a bit too much, has a few too many barbecues and bevies, but he doesn't look physically at his best. But in terms of his ability, come on, you don't lose that overnight. He'll be absolutely fine.
What would you do if you were being exposed like that? Would you go and have a word with the coaches, with the... I know you don't want to step out of line, but you're a senior player. Say you're Casemiro, so you've got weight.
Well, I did
Would you knock Ten Hag's door?
Roy, I said to Roy, look, if I'm going to play in this position, I need some legs next to me. So initially I was playing with Jimmy Bullard, and me and Jim were similar. Jim ended up leaving, and he brought in Dixon Atu, who, powerful, and then Siddy. And Siddy and Dixon and Moussa Dembele came in later.
Legs.
All had legs. Yeah. So I didn't get isolated. And you can't... He can't do it on his own.
And if you saw it during a game...
But he needs to get fit.
If you see it during a game, are you saying, you get in here now?
I was surprised he didn't do that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was surprised with his experience he didn't do that. I think, ironically, it's been an injury to Mount, hasn't it? So the next couple of games, he's gonna sit someone next to him.
Do you think he'll go back to Eriksen or McTominay?
I think he's got to do McTominay. But maybe he's not having him. Maybe he's out the door.
Using him, has he?
Well, they're going to make a signing, aren't they? Let's be honest.
They better.
They will.
They're better. Just from a Spurs perspective.
I was just about to say, I think...
Because they deserve credit.
They do deserve credit.
And Ange Postecoglou deserves credit.
100%. And I think...
They were great, by the way.
They were really good. And you know what? This just tells you about management and personnel and the way they play. Basuma, since Ange has come in, looks like the Basuma that they bought from Brighton. He looks fit, energetic. He's
confident.
Back-to-back man of the match performances, 100% aerial
duels
won,
games,
51 passes, 10 duels won is the most, 6 times possessions won, 5 tackles made.
But people, look, he didn't get a chance under Conte. Yeah. So this is him getting his chance. Yeah. But you know how some players and managers just, they see it. I see what you've got for me.
Yeah.
Go on you go. But the one thing with Tottenham, just quickly, they are gonna be great to watch, and they're gonna have some great performances. But they are risk takers.
100%.
They are. That game against United, they were emptying. Fullbacks,
gone.
Sarr gone. Basuma sometimes going. They high risk.
Do you know what?
Great to watch.
I said this before. I think Harry Kane going will suit Ange in terms of the way that he plays.
I agree.
You look at everywhere he's been.
Look at the goals.
It is crazy. The goals you're losing, but in terms of the manager, who's the most important person at the football club, right? When it comes to the football, where he's been successful, he's played with a pressing number 9.
Got one,
and that's not Harry Kane.
No, but Richarlison does.
Richarlison's that guy. Yeah. He's gonna get chances now to play. You're gonna get chances to play now.
Give him
he
10 games.
He needs to add goals. He needs to add goals 100%. But in terms of the structure of the way Ange likes to play, he is ideal, and this is reason why you're going to see an exciting Tottenham.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah. All right. There you go. That is your take on. Let us know if you agree or disagree with some of the takes that have been on today's show. Pretty sound.
Just before we say goodbye, he said 4-0. He's a United fan. Arsenal 4, United 0.
No, I said if we play... No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay, go on.
I said I agreed with you. If we go there and play offensive... Right, that's what I said.
All right, fair.
If we do it, maybe we only lose 2-0.
Okay.
Well, what we've established on this show today is that Ten Hag is stubborn, so he's going to go there and four attacking players.
We've established that the spotlight is on and Ten Hag needs to fix it, which I'm sure he will. See you again, same time, same place next week, guys. Peace.